Fast food loves pretending it's the great equalizer. Same burger, same fries, same cheerful logo smiling at you from Dublin to Dubrovnik. But the moment you start ordering across Europe, you realize something's off. One country treats a combo meal like a casual snack. Another treats it like a luxury experience you should finance with a small loan. You could be standing under the same golden arches, ordering the exact same Big Mac, and still pay double just because you crossed a border. Sometimes even crossing the street changes the price. It feels less like fast food and more like a psychological experiment where your wallet is the test subject. So that's what this video is about. We're pulling apart the receipts, comparing the biggest chains across Europe, and exposing the price secrets they hope you never notice. Before we begin, hit subscribe so you never miss another brutally honest breakdown. 1. McDonald's. Let's start with the king of all, this should cost the same everywhere meals. McDonald's, the comfort blanket of travelers. The place you walk into when you're tired, hungry, confused, or pretending you'll try local food tomorrow. The logo never changes. The smell never changes. The menu feels carved into stone. A Big Mac is a Big Mac no matter where you are, until Europe proves that sentence is a lie. Picture this. You're in Zurich, strolling into McDonald's thinking you'll grab something quick. Then you look up at the menu, and the numbers hit you like airport security. A Big Mac meal sits at 15 to 20 Swiss francs. That's about $16 to $22. For a burger, fries, and a drink you've eaten at 3 a.m., more times than you can count. Switzerland really treats a combo like a lifestyle choice. A family of 4, you're dropping around 80 Swiss francs just to keep everyone quiet. Now walk out of Zurich and teleport to Warsaw. Same burger, same box, same everything. The meal is around 34 zloty, which is roughly $8.8. You could buy 2 Big Mac meals in Poland and still have money left over for dessert. In fact, you could take the entire Zurich receipt and recreate that meal in Poland twice and still avoid crying. Hop again to London. McDonald's doesn't usually surprise anyone there, but a McMeal sits around £8 and sometimes creeps close to 10 in the busier spots. It's not outrageous, but it's definitely not the price that makes you smile. It's that price you pay when you're already committed and too hungry to back out. Move across to Paris and things get even funnier. The base price should be around $10 to $11, but walk near the Louvre or the Eiffel Tower and suddenly the exact same meal jumps to $12. Same bun, same patty, same orange cheese slice that never melts the way you expect. But the moment you're close to a famous building, the Big Mac behaves like it graduated from a private school. Spain tries to stay chill with an average of $12, although it still sneaks up on you if you're near major attractions. And that's the strange part. Nothing changes in the meal, not the taste, not the ingredients, not the packaging, just the number beside it. And that number swings so wildly across Europe that it feels like someone is spinning a wheel behind the scenes and picking prices for fun. McDonald's doesn't travel consistently. Your wallet does the traveling for it. 2. KFC. Now slide your tray aside and walk into KFC, where the chicken is always crispy but the receipts behave like they're running from the law. The Zinger Burger is supposed to be a reliable friend. It tastes the same whether you're in Birmingham or Barcelona. But the price? That thing has mood swings. Start in Geneva. You stroll in thinking you'll grab a Zinger meal and go about your day. Then the menu quietly hands you a heart attack. A typical Zinger combo lands somewhere between 20 and 25 Swiss francs. That's the kind of price that makes you stop chewing mid-bite. And if you're bold enough to grab a bucket, the filet bucket for 2 sits at 39.90 Swiss francs. And the family and friends bucket touches 59.90 Swiss francs. That's not dinner. That's an emotional experience. Now jump directly to Poland. Suddenly the Zinger feels like a different product. A full Z-Store Zinger meal sits around 28.99 zloty, roughly $7 to $8. You could buy 2 Zinger meals in Poland for the price of 1 in Switzerland and still have enough to grab dessert or an extra side you didn't plan for. If Geneva's version feels like a premium event, Poland's feels like a casual Tuesday decision. Move over to the UK and things calm down but still refuse to be predictable. A Zinger meal sits at $8.99, while the box meals stretch to around $11.99 or $12.99. It's that price that makes no one shocked, but no one happy either. You buy it because it's KFC, and chicken has a hold on your soul. Head to Spain or France, and the Zinger settles into a comfortable $11 to $12. Nothing outrageous, nothing exciting, just the steady middle child of fast food pricing. But here's where it gets strange. Every one of these Zingers looks the same. You could line them up on a table and no one would know which came from where. Same bun, same spicy fillet, same lettuce pretending to be healthy. Yet depending on the border you cross, the Zinger transforms from a cheap thrill to a "should I really be paying this much for chicken at so?" moment. The weirdest part is how normal the menu looks while all this is happening. The screens glow the same. The burgers look identical. But your receipt? It tells a completely different story depending on the country you're standing in. KFC might say it's finger-licking, but sometimes it's also wallet-shaking. 3. Burger King. Let's switch lanes for a minute and step into Burger King, where the Whopper pretends it's consistent until you look at the receipt. It's the same burger everywhere, the same smoky smell, the same oversized bun that always looks like it went through a motivational speech. But the prices across Europe feel like someone tossed dice in the back office and built the menu around whatever numbers came up. Start in the UK. A regular Whopper meal sits at £9.49. Upgrade to a double Whopper meal and it hits $10.99. Not exactly a bargain, but manageable. It's that kind of price you pay without thinking too deeply because hunger makes you reckless. Now jump to Poland. Forget everything you just heard. A triple Whopper meal lands at about 28.99 to 29.99 zloty, which comes out to roughly 8. Even the double bacon and cheese Whopper meal often stays between 22 zloty and 27 zloty. That means a giant stacked burger with fries and a drink is cheaper than the regular Whopper meal in the UK. You can literally order 2 meals in Krakow and still spend less than a single double Whopper meal in London. That kind of price difference makes you stare at both receipts like you're solving a mystery. Swing up to Switzerland and things snap right back into chaos mode. A Whopper menu typically sits somewhere between 15 and 18 Swiss francs, with anything involving bacon creeping close to 20 Swiss francs. That's around $16 to $22. It's the same burger, but now it's treating your wallet like you signed up for premium dining. Move across to Spain or France. Here, the Whopper acts like it's trying to be the normal one in the family. A typical Whopper meal sits around $11 or $12. Nothing surprising at first. Then you walk near La Rambla or a major Paris landmark, and suddenly the price jumps to $12. The exact same meal becomes noticeably more expensive just because your view got prettier. The strange part is how visually identical everything is. Walk into all these locations and the menu boards look cloned. The burger wrappers look identical, even the sodas taste the same. Yet the numbers printed on the receipt can shift so much that it feels impossible to believe you bought the same thing. The Whopper might be the king of the menu, but across Europe it charges whatever royalty fee it feels like that day. 4. Subway. Alright, time to leave the burger world for a second and grab a sandwich. Subway should be simple. Bread, fillings, toppings, done. You point, they assemble, and you walk away with something that tastes the same no matter where you are. That's the whole promise. But travel through Europe with this sandwich and you'll start thinking it has a secret life. Begin in the UK. A meatball marinara 6-inch usually sits around £4.50. The footlong version floats near $6.99. Add a drink and maybe a cookie and you're crossing into the $8.50 to $9 territory. Nothing shocking yet. It's Subway doing what Subway does. But then you step into Poland and the entire situation flips. A full footlong with a drink often lands between 20 and 25 zloty. That's roughly $5 to $6. You can buy a full-size sub, get a drink, enjoy your meal and spend less than the cost of a single 6-inch in the UK. It's almost comedic. The same meatballs, the same bread, the same sauce dripping onto the paper, yet the bill is so low you start wondering if they forgot to charge you. Now travel to Switzerland. Suddenly that harmless footlong becomes ambitious. Reports place a footlong combo around 14 Swiss francs, which sits near $15.50. And that is before you add extra cheese or anything remotely interesting. The price jumps so much it feels like you moved from a fast lunch to an investment. France and Spain fall somewhere in between. A meal tends to land around $11 or $12. Still manageable, still predictable. But then you visit a busy metro station in Paris or a high-foot traffic area in Barcelona, and the price sneaks upward. Same sandwich, new bill. The bizarre part is how quietly it all happens. Everything inside the store looks familiar. The bread smells the same. The cheese slices line up the same way. The staff asks the same questions. You pick your toppings like always. But once the total appears on the screen, it becomes obvious that this brand doesn't travel with one personality. It carries several. Subway sells a sandwich that should feel universal. Instead, it behaves like a different character in every country, and the receipt tells you exactly which version you met. 5. Starbucks. Let's step away from meals altogether and grab a drink. Not a complicated one, just a tall latte. One cup, one size, one recipe. Starbucks built an empire by convincing the world that a latte should be the same everywhere. Then Europe came along and said, no, that cup is going to cost whatever it feels like today. Start in Switzerland. A tall latte comes in at $7.17. It is the single most expensive Starbucks latte on the planet. One small cup of coffee priced like a handcrafted souvenir. You order it once, look at the receipt and start checking your bank balance like someone who misclicked on an online purchase. Now drift over to Denmark. Another pricey sip. A latte costs about $6.55. Not as painful as Switzerland, but still a shock when you realize all you're holding is warm milk and caffeine. You stare at the cup wondering why your morning routine suddenly feels luxurious. Slide into France. A tall latte sits near $5.36, which feels almost reasonable compared to the Swiss numbers until you remember you're still paying more than $5 for something that disappears in 6 minutes. Hop to the UK, around $5.31, roughly £4.10 or £4.20. Still pricey, but familiar. Your brain accepts it because London trains and Starbucks cups have always gone hand in hand. Now move south into Spain. Suddenly the same latte drops to about $3.95. You feel like you're being rewarded for crossing a border. It's the same coffee, the same green logo, but the price softens like it took a holiday. Croatia, Greece, and the Czech Republic hover close to Spain. The latte feels affordable, reasonable, predictable. Then you reach Poland. A tall latte costs around $3.56. That is less than half the Swiss price. You could drink 2 Polish lattes and still not reach the cost of 1 Swiss cup. And then Italy, the land of espresso loyalty. A tall latte sits around $2.84. Suddenly Starbucks looks humble. Locals still prefer the $1 espresso at the bar, but for tourists it is the cheapest Starbucks experience in Europe. The funniest part is nothing in the cup changes. Same foam, same steamed milk, same green siren. But every country decides a completely different mood for the price. Europe turns a simple coffee into a wild guessing game. The economics behind the price differences. Now that the receipts have slapped us around a bit, let's pull the camera back and look at what actually drives these price swings. It isn't magic and it isn't personality. It comes down to the invisible costs sitting underneath every counter in Europe. First, rent. A McDonald's near the Eiffel Tower or a Starbucks inside Geneva's city centre pays amounts that would make most people rethink their life choices. The moment a chain sits in a premium zone, the menu quietly climbs. Then, wages. Countries like Switzerland, Denmark and Norway pay fast food workers real money. That cost sneaks into the price of every latte and every chicken burger. Taxes matter too. The UK carries a 20% VAT, while Poland sits closer to 8%. That alone rearranges the numbers on a combo. Currency differences push things even further, especially when the Swiss franc, Danish krone or British pound stand tall. All of this mixes into one strange outcome. Same brand, same meal, completely different bill. How to get the best value for your money. If you ever want to beat Europe's menu roulette, you need a few tricks in your pocket. Start by avoiding anything sold beside a landmark. Walk a few streets away and the price usually drops like it remembered its manners. Check the apps. KFC, McDonald's and Burger King love hiding their best deals behind buttons. 2-for-1 meals, discounted sides, random coupons, all waiting for anyone patient enough to tap. Lunch hours are your friend. Many chains slash prices midday to lure crowds. Late afternoon deals pop up too. And don't forget, local food. In Spain, Italy or Greece, a fresh sandwich or hot plate often costs less than a Big Mac. Travel smart, eat smarter, and let your wallet breathe. If you've ever been shocked by a menu abroad, drop the story below and hit subscribe so you never get ambushed by a receipt again.